Hello, welcome to the 5th edition of the Book of Hopes. I know that some of you have been snuggling up with your mums and dads to listen to these stories, and I know that some of you have been listening to them before you go to sleep. I hope you enjoy all the stories that you've been listening to. Our first reading will be Balcony Picnic, written by Michelle Magorian, read by Miss Casali.
Balcony Picnic. Up on the balcony, high in the air, drinking fizzy orange in an old deck chair. The washing hangs above me, the traffic's far below, and Mum is carrying sandwiches, but on tiptoe. My little sister's sleeping, so it's just Mum and me, and we're having chocolate fingers for our picnic tea, and sandwiches with jam, buns and sausage rolls, and ice cream and jelly in yellow plastic bowls. We mustn't laugh too loud in case my sister wakes, so we're whispering very quietly and eating fairy cakes. Nobody can see us watching planes fly by, sitting here and eating our picnic in the sky.
Up next is Miss Phillipson, who will be reading New Boots by Jacqueline Wilson.
New boots. There's a huge hole in my right boot, and the sole flaps madly on the left. Our Lily used to pass down her boots to me, but now my feet are growing too big, even though she's much older than me. She's away in service, working as a lady's maid. I don't want to be a lady's maid. I want to be the lady. My teacher says I've got a chance of getting a scholarship to the girls' high school next year. I go past it when I go to Bickerton Market to run the errand for Ma. I can't see me fitting in with all those posh girls in their fancy uniforms, to be honest. Mind you, I don't really fit in the village school either. They call me Spud. That's not my real name, obviously. Ma gave us flowery names. I'm Rose, and my older sisters are Lily and Violet. I'm called Spud because this brown frock, Ma made it out of cheap material, and it's so coarse, it sends me itching something chronic. The children at school say it's made of an old potato sacking, hence Spud. If I ever get to be a lady, I shall wear silk frocks, all shades of the rainbow. The Queen is the highest lady in the land, and poor old Victoria was nothing but black all day. There's a wonderful evening gown in the draper's window in Bickerton. It's a rich Persian blue with red satin trimmings and red glass cut beads on the body. Someone has arranged a pair of scarlet kid boots beside the deep blue hem. The perfect touch. I'm here to buy flour, cheese and a dozen eggs because our old Henry's pennies stopped laying. But now I have the groceries, I must have one more look at that dazzling gown. But when I glimpse in the draper's shop window, the dress is missing. Somebody purchased my beautiful gown. I rush to see, and the sole of my left boot catches on a pebble. I stagger and land on my knees, juggling flour, cheese and eggs. The lady from the draper's shop dashes out and picks me up. I burst into tears and then duck my head, ashamed. Don't cry, child. You've saved every single egg. But oh dear, look at the state of your boots, she says. The sole has turned right off, and my bare foot is touching the ground. Are these your only pair? She asks gently, and I nod. We don't really stock children's boots. The only footwear I have in my shop are scarlet boots. The lady who bought the gown didn't care for the ensemble. They're ridiculously fancy and probably far too big, but you're welcome to try them, she says. They're a perfect fit for my big feet. The kid feels soft as a glove and the sole is stout. Oh, they're the most beautiful boots in the world. But I couldn't possibly afford them, I said, sniffing. The lady looks at me. She looks at the boots. "Take them, dear," she says. "When you start earning, you can come back and pay me then. How about that?" Oh, joy! When I am a lady, I shall buy all my gowns and boots from her. And though I'm still just a little girl in a brown dress, I feel like a queen. I dance all the way home in my new boots, my beautiful red kid boots.
Our last reading today is Sita Bramcha's A Gift of Time by Mrs George.
The Gift of Time. Homage to Dr. A.K. Brahmachari and Iris. My dad was a dad with a big smile, a huge heart and an easy laugh. He was also a doctor who travelled on a ship from India in 1959, responding to the call of the motherland to help create the newly founded National Health Service. I have a photo. You may have something like it in your family archive of Not Yet My Dad, in a long coat, Marlon Brando style, so young and handsome with a full head of hair. The moment of arrival, pigeons landing on his hands, standing with fellow doctors who made that long journey together. In the background is a mother holding a child paddling in a fountain. A mother and a child my dad might later treat in a hospital or in his GP surgery, working side by side with my mum, Frida, a nurse. Or in the post office. Yes, the post office. And if you're willing to pass the time of day with me, you'll see why. When I look at that early photo of my dad, I have 1,000 memories I could share of acts of kindness to patients that I witnessed every day as a child. But this one makes me think of now. One day, when I was 9 years old, I tagged along with Dad to the local town. He had letters to send to India at the local post office. That, "Anyone come along with me on a little trip?" became a whole morning. He met an old lady in the queue. Frail but determined, she held a letter in her hand. "On its way to Canada, doctor," she explained, "for my newborn great-great-granddaughter's birthday." That old woman's name was Iris. My dad took her arm and inquired about her health. Leaving the post office, we walked her to her door and were invited in. "We won't be long," my dad assured a sighing me. The tea, Iris insisted on preparing herself in china teacups painted with violets. She would not let my dad help her pour the boiling water into the chip brown teapot she covered with a rainbow knitted cosy. "We can get a few cups out of this, doctor," she said, patting it. Time slowed. A ladybird crawled into the daffodil trumpet on the table. There were pictures of her family on the mantelpiece. The teapot finally emptied. Driving home in our metallic green Beetle, Dad explained to me, "I have known Iris all my working life, and I don't think she has long to live." 2 weeks later, I accompanied Dad on a home visit to Iris's door. When he returned to the car, tears flowed down his cheeks, as they did mine, as they do now, at the memory of his words and gift. It was Iris's time.